Hi Aries, welcome to your Celtic cross reading. That's right, today we're doing a Celtic cross. I'm new to recording these readings and I don't really have a intro figured out yet, so pardon me while I stumble through technology. So if you're not familiar with Celtic cross readings, we're going to start by looking at the current situation, then looking at what's challenging that situation. We'll look at the influencing energy, relevant past, exiting energy, your immediate future, as well as your strengths, environment, hopes and fears, and then finally the outcome. Celtic cross for Aries, please. Celtic cross reading for Aries. Okay, in your current situation is the Queen of Swords. That was my mini trampoline falling. I had propped it up on its side. Oh, so that it wouldn't be on camera. Now it's on camera. Okay, Queen of Swords. She is a truth seeker. You're trying to find the truth out about something. Queen of Swords is highly intelligent, led by rational thought, and very independent. So, what's the issue? Crossing the Queen of Swords, we have the King of Swords. Okay, so we're having an issue with our King of Swords. Perhaps our truths are not the same truths. We're not seeing things the same way. The way we use logic and rationality is different from our divine counterpart. Yeah, so we have two divine counterparts at odds with each other. Very interesting. I don't think there's such a thing as one truth. Everybody has their own truth. And you both are seeing things differently. Influencing energy. The High Priestess. So, hidden knowledge, complexity, intuition. Okay. Relevant past is the Four of Wands. So this is somebody that you are already connected with. It's somebody that you have already had important rites of passage with, whether that's going on dates, solidifying your relationship, even marriage. This is an established relationship with a current issue regarding some differing opinion on what the truth is. But over everything is intuition. Exiting energy is the King of Coins. So, as you know, I'm assuming you know if you have found this channel, you've probably watched other videos by other readers. We don't read for male or female, but we all have feminine and masculine energies. So, reverse apply as needed. Your King of Coins, I don't know if you were always in this Queen of Swords energy, but the King of Swords was not always in this energy. He was in a King of Coins energy, focused on stability, focused on providing. But currently, we have both of you directing your swords at each other. focusing, kind of forgetting other things, forgetting our emotions, forgetting our stability, forgetting our passions, and focusing on this is my truth. We're being very, very logical. But making decisions without our feelings is just as bad as making decisions based on feeling without any rationality. Immediate future is 7 of Cups. Yeah, lots of choices ahead of you. Do you stand your ground? Do you choose to compromise? Do you choose to gain a new perspective? Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Lots of things to consider moving forward. And all of these things are very important when dealing with an established connection. Your strengths are Page of Cups, curiosity, communication. So that's very promising. It shows that we're not at a stalemate. As long as communication is on the table, we're not at a stalemate. As long as we can keep an open mind, right? As long as we're actually listening, as long as we're having a conversation to communicate and listen, not to convince and argue. Environment. 3 of Swords. So whatever this disagreement is a major disagreement. Things that couples argue about are typically value related. King of Pentacles has to do with values. So someone that you already have an established connection with, maybe you didn't have a conversation about your values before getting into this connection. That's emerging now, and it's at odds. You don't have the same values about something, and that was devastating. That caused a lot of grief, a lot of heartbreak. That's in your environment. You didn't communicate about your values before entering. You were focused maybe entirely on passion. That caused 3 of Swords, and now you're both in your Swords energy. So we have you as 1 sword, they are 1 sword, and then the sword in the middle is whatever your disagreement is. I don't think that this is a third party energy. I think this is just a lot of defensiveness, a lot of is there anything worse than arguing with somebody who just wants to be really logical? I mean, anyone who's been in debate club knows that you can kind of reasonably argue any point of view. And it doesn't mean that it's the truth, right? So we've got a lot of Swords energy going on. I think as a protective measure, as a counterpoint to past passions. Okay. Hopes and fears is the 6 of Coins. Hoping to find that balanced energy between the 2 of you once again. Hoping to overcome this heartbreak. And in the outcome, 9 of Cups. Wishes granted, optimism and contentment. One way or another, alone or together, you do find satisfaction and contentment. And then the bottom of the deck, we have the 9 of Coins. So another kind of independent energy. Yeah, definitely getting the feeling that you are self-focused. I don't mean that in a selfish way, because we do have communication, we do have equal give and take here, and we have the High Priestess here. But I think it is coming back to, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? That's a very self-focused choice, because either way, I mean, sometimes there are times when you do choose being right over being happy. There's not a right choice there. It has to do with your own, here we come back to values. Being right or happy, does that conflict with my values? Again, there are so many kinds of values. Having kids, having money, monogamy, everybody, this is a general collective reading, so everybody's going to have a different values and different problems. But I think at the heart of it, it is about differing values and how to either find compromise or leave the situation and find independence. Let's go in and clarify. Okay, tell me about the Queen of Swords for Aries, please. Please tell me about the Queen of Swords for Aries. Why is the Queen of Swords here? Eight of Wands, swift communication, and the Magician. So this is not a no contact situation. We are having conversations. What I'm coming up with this card is like lightning striking, like striking with your logic, like barbed conversation, pointed words. But then we have the Magician showing up. So you're trying to bring the King of Swords around to your point of view. You're trying to manifest that understanding. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the King of Wands. So you are trying very hard to be ruled by logic, but to such an extent, there's clearly passion behind all of this on both sides. Both of you are very passionate. Otherwise, if you weren't very passionate, we wouldn't have the Three of Swords on the table. Like, we don't have heartbreak and betrayal over values that we're not passionate about. Like, I don't know. Some people always say they want to be monogamous, but then for the right person or a different phase in their life, they decide maybe they'd have an open relationship. They're not passionately connected to that value. You are both passionately connected to your point of view. Tell me about the King of Swords. Why is the King of Swords here? Five of Cups and Four of Swords. So when we're leading with this kind of barbed logic, we often are hiding our emotions. You might not see it, but the person that you're dealing with, this is hurting them too. And it looks like they are stepping back. They're still in Swords energy. It's a Four of Swords. They are resting and recuperating. Hopefully not to like come do battle again. Hopefully it's to gain a new perspective, but they have stepped back. And whether you can see it or not, they too are feeling the pain of this heartbreak. they might not be. That is kind of funny because this whole situation is about standing in our truth, but being vulnerable is about communicating truth as well. Communicating, I feel sad, I feel heartbroken, this is hurting me. Those are also truths. They're emotional truths, which we're avoiding, but maybe communicating those emotional truths as well as the logic-driven truths would help mend this situation. We have the Nine of Cups showing up again at the bottom of the deck. What you both want to find a common ground. The Nine of Cups is contentment, and that's showing up for both of you. Nine of Cups is optimism. Optimism. Why is the High Priestess here? High Priestess and the influencing energy. Okay, we have Seven of Cups again. And Ten of Swords. Okay, so choices. Again, choices are in the immediate future. Choices are clarifying. The High Priestess. The High Priestess doesn't rule by logic alone. Intuition covers other ways of knowing. Intuition covers things that we can't explain, gut feelings, embodied feelings, psychic knowings. This Ten of Swords is showing me, I don't think this Ten of Swords is indicating an ending of the relationship. The Ten of Swords is showing an ending of, that's one option. Ending the relationship is one cup, one choice. Your relationship as it was is definitely over. This argument is of such critical importance that it led to Three of Swords, meaning that you can't go back to the way things were. You can choose to go forward in a new way together. You can choose to find compromise. You can choose to see each other's truths, or you can choose to stand your ground and go your separate ways. Either way, the relationship that you had no longer exists. And now is the time to choose how to go forward. And to do that, and we have Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck, a very defensive energy. If you go deeply enough into your intuition, you can get past those defenses to find a truth that's the truth for the higher good, a truth that's bigger than the ego. Tell me about the Four of Wands. Why is the Four of Wands here? Ooh, this is a heavy energy. Like, I think this was entirely unexpected. Oh my gosh. Now, what I'm thinking about, I was sick last week and I watched the first season of Bridgerton. And okay, I don't know how much to say. I don't know who's watched Bridgerton. Spoiler alert, okay? I'm going to spoil Bridgerton. So the two main characters get together and they have the agreement. The masculine says, I cannot have children. The feminine says, I love you enough to make this happen. They have Four of Wands. They get married. They like have passionate sex and love. And then the feminine finds out that it's not that he cannot have children, it's that he doesn't want children, and that causes Three of Swords. And eventually they work it out, they get together, but their relationship as it was is over. And in the end, the whole rest of that season is about them making that choice about how to move forward. Do we continue together or do we continue separately? And that's the storyline that I'm getting here. Tell me about the Four of Wands, please. I'm not enjoying the second season as much of Bridgerton. Okay. Four of Wands is clarified by the Tower. And Nine of Pentacles. So Nine of Pentacles is thriving, independence, freedom. And then we have the Tower, which is upheaval. That makes sense that that's in the relevant past. I don't think it's directly connected to the Four of Wands. This happened after the Four of Wands. It was the Tower that led to the Three of Swords. When we don't take the time to communicate our values, in some ways I think that is about maintaining independence. We don't want to become codependent. We want to maintain our individuality within the union, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in this case, it's that you don't know what you don't know, and in this case, what you didn't know caused a Tower and caused heartbreak. But there was happiness before the Tower. Now I'm having that Taylor Swift song in my head. There is happiness because of you. There's something else because of you. Both of these things can be true. All right, let's go to the exiting energy, which is the King of Coins. Tell me about the King of Coins for Aries, please. King of Coins. Queen of Swords. And Two of Wands. This value, and I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say it's kids or money or monogamy. It's going to be different for everyone. This value wasn't communicated until it became relevant. It became relevant when the two of you started planning something specific for your future. Actually, I think Aries, you started thinking about the future. You started to investigate how to have this future with your partner, who was the King of Pentacles. This discovery came out via the Tower, and you transformed first. This felt like a betrayal to you. You transformed first into the Queen of Swords, and your transformation of energy, and I'm not saying that you were wrong, like, you did what you felt like you had to do. You went into truth-seeking mode. You transformed into the Queen of Swords, went into truth-seeking mode. That put your partner on the defensive and transformed them from King of Pentacles, security-based, into King of Swords, which is that analytical, authority-based energy. And at the bottom, Ace of Swords. A truth was communicated. In the immediate future, we have the Seven of Cups. Tell me about the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is clarified by the Emperor. This is in the immediate future. Divine Masculine and Two of Cups. So, choices based on stability and partnership. This shows to me that you're going to try to work things out. Energy has transformed a lot. And I think this is showing our King of Coins to King of Swords now remembers his emotions and passions, those things that had to be present to have the Four of Wands, and is able to bring it all together. The Four Kings become the Emperor. I mean, it's a little cut and dry for me. At the bottom, we have the High Priestess again. I just can't get the Bridgerton story out of my head. And one thing another tarot reader had said is that when you're met with swords, especially with a loved one, you need to meet them with cups. And sorry to everyone for all of these Bridgerton spoilers, but Daphne meets Simon. He's in his swords energy, and she gets out of her swords energy to meet him with cups. And she allows other ways of knowing. She allows her like High Priestess, intuition, all these other, she allows complexities in their relationship and meets him where he is, which is in a very complex place. I think the High Priestess is asking you to look at the complexities. We have the Seven of Cups showing up twice. That's a lot of choices. That's a lot of options. That's a lot of storylines and paths and history. And we all have history. Your king, your emperor had a history before you. You had a history before him. And all of these things come together to make, to influence our current choices. Your strength is the Page of Cups, which is curiosity. So maybe it's not that cut and dry. Maybe you've already been in this exploratory energy, which is why this is coming up like so very quickly. The Two of Cups and the Emperor coming up so very quickly, because your curiosity and your affection for this masculine is more important than the fight. Okay. The Page of Cups is clarified by the moon. So some things are still hidden. There's still some things that need to be communicated. The full truth, it seems like you have the full truth, but you don't. And the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so the Rider-Waite, this is the Wild Unknown, but in the Rider-Waite deck, the Five of Pentacles, we have the two beggars so immersed in their experience of being in the cold that they don't see the church is available for refuge right next to them. You don't have the whole truth. There's something that you're not seeing. But if you can lean into your strength of curiosity, if you can stay curious, and staying curious means that you are open to the fact that the truth might change. The truth might change, just like when we have a tarot reading and every card changes the story. You have your truth, and with every piece of information that you get, the story changes. The truth changes a little bit. So stay curious. At the bottom of the deck is the Son of Wands, inspired action. So don't sit in your heartbreak. Tell me about the Three of Swords. Once I saw somebody who had a Three of Swords tattoo, and I just wondered, why would you get that on your body? Just like I wonder when people have dream catchers, catching the nightmares. Anyways, Three of Swords. Tell me about this. This is your environment. This is permeating everything. We have the Lovers. Yeah, this is a really deep connection. Your affection is more important than the truth. So in this particular case, I'm leaning towards happiness is more important than the truth. You might argue otherwise. You can tell me in the comments. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune spins, our fortunes change. But one way that I like to think about the Wheel of Fortune is finding center. Finding center so that all the chaos of the outside world, chaos that other people bring, doesn't affect me because I have found my center. This is an aspiration, not a personal truth. But when I see the Wheel of Fortune, that's what I think of. The world is constantly changing. There's so many things that we can't control, but we can control ourselves. Kind of, usually, depending on. Like, trauma responses are uncontrollable, but things like somatic experiencing therapy help us make those uncontrollable things controllable. So, hopes and fears. 6 of Coins. Hoping for generosity, hoping to give and receive, hoping for support. Can this be salvaged? Can you come back together? Is love enough? Is love enough? We have the World, the completion of a cycle. That ties to that 10 of Swords. What was is no longer. You'll either separate or come back together stronger than you were. And the 8 of Pentacles. So you're putting work into it. But are you working smart or are you working hard? That is the question. In the outcome, we have the 9 of Cups. I don't take flyers. If they want to make it into the reading, they will. Okay. Okay, we have the Hanged Man, gaining new perspectives, and the Fool. So the Fool can be kind of naivety and experience, and the Hanged Man can be a pause, but I'm reading them differently in this. You're having a new beginning, and it's after all of this, it's not a naive beginning. This was a naive beginning. This is not. I think it's a delicate beginning. You're beginning to trust each other again, trust yourself again, seeing the world through new eyes. And in that way, that's new. How does the world look? How do you move through the world with these new truths in your heart? Or old truths solidified? You know, that's definitely a possibility, is that you find out that this value is important to your personal honor system. And that's information that leads to a new beginning, because an inevitable ending leads to an inevitable new beginning. Whew, that's difficult to say. So now I'm going to pull 3 cards and a bottom card for advice, and then I'm going to pull an oracle deck from the Woodland Wardens deck. Can I get some advice for Aries? I'm not here to tell you that you are right or wrong. I'm not here to tell you to choose happiness over being right, because as we discussed, sometimes being right actually is more important than being happy. And a lot of the injustices we have in this world are because people choose happiness over being great. But sometimes our unhappiness is because we choose being right over being happy. Both of these things can be true. Okay, we have 9 of Pentacles showing up again. Gaining new perspectives, focusing on your own abundance and independence and growth and higher good. Anytime you focus on the higher good, that's like the rising tide lifts all ships. You can't go wrong with that. But make sure that you're actually looking and not choosing a truth without investigating it further. 9 of Wands, resilience, keep going, but we're getting towards the end. 9 of Cups. So we had the 9 of, didn't I have the 9 of Cups? I did. Well, now we have the 9 of Cups as advice. What makes you happy? So apparently it is about being happy over being right. And then at the bottom of the deck we have the Knight of Pentacles. Since your counterpart showed up as the King of Pentacles, I'm inclined to say this is in regards to them. Don't let this argument make you forget their good qualities. Don't make them forget why you fell in love with them. You're together for a reason. And even things that seem insurmountable can be overcome with new perspectives. There is no right choice in this reading. I'm sure many people disagree with that. But in this particular reading, why do I say that? I say this to myself. When I was in my 20s, I don't say this to offend anybody. When I was in my 20s, I was heavily depressed, like clinically depressed, and I was an asshole to people because I was just really miserable in my own life and hopeless in my own life. And so I was a jerk to people and I lost friends because of it. And I came to realize, like, being depressed doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. And so in that kind of case, you don't have to stick around. Like, if this person is being an asshole to you, it's your choice to stick around or not. It depends or to change your mind, to stick around and then decide that you've had enough. You're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to see things from new perspectives. Let's get a final card for Aries, please. The porcupine and anemone. Boundaries. Okay, let's look this card up. Okay. The porcupine, with its impressive quills, is a well-known symbol of self-defense. According to a legend common among Anishinaabe tribes, the porcupine got its quills by placing the branches of a hawthorn tree on its back, defending itself against the bear. Nanabozo, the trickster spirit in Ojibwe myth, saw the porcupine's cleverness and fashioned it a coat of quills to wear them from then on. Just as the porcupine curls into a ball to defend itself from predators, the anemone flower turns inward and down during rainstorms, protecting its delicate petals from damage. You cannot help others unless you first help yourself. Maintain healthy boundaries around your time and energy, giving generously only once you are sufficiently fed. And I think that ties into that 9 of Pentacles and the advice, which is about that independence and self-sufficiency, taking care of the self before giving to others. Put your own oxygen mask on first and all of that. So this card comes with 3 questions. If they resonate, I'd love to hear your answers in the comments. How can I ensure my needs are met? Have I established healthy boundaries around my time and energy? And interestingly, do I respect the boundaries of others? So that is your reading, Aries. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.